nostalgic look.
Wow. Remember that one?
In the 90s there were still platform games, side-scrolling games, 3D hadn't arrived. So the mid-90s when 3D started happening in the consoles. So that was Tomb Raider 1 back in '95. Very pixelated, looks very dated now, but it's a massive success. And was really responsible for the success of the PlayStation, because software sells hardware, of course, but hardware doesn't sell itself. So there's now a huge array of various games platforms available on the market, and huge content diversity. At the beginning of the game's age, there's guys making games for guys, basically. There's either kicking something or kicking somebody, and the sports or military. But now, 70% of the population play games, young and old, male and female. And there's content diversity, whether it's nurturing ponies for young children, or brain training for older people, or cooking mama. There's something for everybody in the gaming world. Just to put some numbers on it, it's $50 billion a year. It's now spent on video games. It's likely to be to $90 billion by 2015. It's the largest entertainment industry in the world. Why is that? Well, we're pretty good at generating emotions. Games have really become an art form now. We can evoke emotion in people. But the game industry is in a constant state of change, and with the new online world, it's in a complete world of transformation now. And there's a second golden age of games where content owners can reach global audiences via high-speed broadband, and this is fantastic for the UK because we're probably the most creative nation in the world. Look at our fashion, look at our advertising, look at our film, look at our television, look at our comedy, look at our design, our architecture. We are brilliant at creativity, and we put technology into the hands of a creative nation. Hey presto, you get computer and video games. And so there's a rise now of computer games being made by UK developers. So was once a packaged goods business, particularly in the console market. The rise of the online world means we predict by next year, as soon as next year, that the revenues from online sales is going to surpass those from packaged goods. And so whilst people might think that games in decline, the actual market is in fact increasing. And so this new world, this new online world, is available through various proprietary networks like PlayStation and Xbox Live Arcade, but also largely through the web and through, of course, the iPhone, again, being played more and more by more and more people. So there's all these new opportunities from casual games served on portals and social networks like Facebook, where huge numbers of games are being played. So the online multiplayer world of console games is still booming. Games like Modern Warfare have sort of 30 million copies. And games for children like Club Penguin, which is aimed at sort of 5 to 8-year-old children with their virtual penguin, meeting their friends with their avatars online. Experience great fun, and World of Warcraft for older players, effectively influenced by games like Dungeons and Dragons. User-generated content with Little Big Planet, games portal serving free-to-play games, and of course mobile games like Angry Birds, which has had over 200 million downloads now. There it is. Who's played Angry Birds? Yes, well, incredible success story. And the value of the IP created in that is huge. And Rovio is a very small studio in Finland. They recently attracted investment from VCs around $40 million to, in their words, try and take Angry Birds and Rovio, the studio, to become the kind of new Disney by creating very exciting intellectual property, serving it to global audiences. And these characters now are very valuable. Smartphones and tablets is obviously where it's all happening. Social mobile is going to be the new sweet spot for games. Everybody wants one social media device that does everything for them, plus playing games. Games that they can connect through the cloud, or playing apps, or play together, linked, is the new gold rush. So it took 38 years to achieve 50 million users of the radio, 13 years for the television users, 4 years for the internet, 3 years for the mobile phone, and yet Facebook got 200 million users in less than a year. There are now nearly 600 million users of Facebook, and Facebook has become another platform. Who's played Farmville? Now you're starting to lie to me. Well, even though you haven't, 80 million people have, and this is making, I don't know if you're familiar with social games, Cityville was their follow-up. It launched on the 10th of December last year. Within 44 days, it had 100 million people playing Cityville. These are extraordinary numbers. In many ways, it's kind of going back to the old style of games. It's an isometric viewpoint, very simple programming required. Yet they're very engaging in games, and they appealed mainly to what we call the soccer moms, sort of 40-year-old housewives in America who drop their kids off at home at school, grab a coffee, come home, do a few emails, and then play 10 minutes snacking on a game like Cityville. And the metric, the appeal of these games is that you're trying to be better than your friends, do better in your farming. There's a sort of a compulsion loop to go back to play the game, because when you're growing your crops, if you don't go back and do it in time, your tomatoes are going to go to mush, and your animals are going to starve. So you feel like it's like an old Tamagotchi toy, compelled to go back and sort out your farm duties. So what's happening in the UK? Well, largely down to supply of Sinclair, putting affordable computers into the hands of a very creative nation. We've got up to a flying start. There's no surprise that games like Red Dead Daughter, or Tomb Raider, and Elite, Oculus, etc. were all created in the UK. But if you look at what's happening to this day and age, most of the games in that list are, other than Connect Sports, are not actually created in the UK. And this is the top 10. I think one was about, there it is, November last year. So today's global blockbusters are mostly not developed in the UK, in the console market, and those that are developed in the UK are actually owned by foreign publishers, who often see greater value in the intellectual property that we create than we do ourselves. So the independent UK developers in the traditional space of console gaming is actually declining. So what's changed for the UK? Well, the new online world, in fact, in York, Revolution Studios by Charles Cecil. Broken Sword was an old PC game reinvigorated with millions of downloads on iPhone. Moshi Monsters from Mind Candy, rather like Club Penguin. It's a for some 6 to 9-year-old boys and girls with virtual monsters where they play games, educational games, earn in-game points and spend them in their virtual worlds. They've now got 50 million registered users of Moshi Monsters. And Jagex is responsible for RuneScape. So there's a lot of good things happening in the UK with independent game studios. Gourmet Ranch is the game I was associated with. So for a successful games industry, we need perception of games to change. It's what I call the 5P. We need the government to put their arms around us more. We need better stories in the media. By pipes, I mean we need high-speed broadband. We talk about 2 meg as being fantastic. It's actually pretty paltry when you compare it to Korea, where they've got 100 meg on mobile and a gigabyte on landlines available to their people. By property, I mean intellectual property, not just creating intellectual property, but retaining ownership of it. If you want to build real value in companies and increase value to the UK, you've got to be able to keep hold of our intellectual property. By pounds, I mean access to finance. We need people to actually back the brilliant stuff that we're creating in the UK. And by people, I mean skills. And finally getting around to we need a skilled workforce to be able to keep creating the games that we do, because making games is not an easy task. It's a fusion of art and technology, and it draws on many parts of life to create a very compelling interactive experience. So it's not easy. These are some of the skills that I'm sure you're probably aware of to make games, from 3D programming, physics and management and lighting and story. All these component parts go back into making a game. Another hat I wear is I chair the Computer Games Skills Council at Skillset. And during the years I've been doing this, we found that in universities, of the 144 universities actually list games in their prospectus as a games course, we found most of them were not actually fit for purpose. They were kind of general media study courses with the kind of word media crossed out and computer games inserted, just to get bums on seats. It was an easy win for them. And so they were learning about the philosophy of games rather than the hard skills how to make them. So this is, from my point of view, a disaster. So this is one of the kind of early realizations that we had to try and do something about it. And so whilst the global market for games is $50 billion in 2010 and $87 billion by 2014, UK industry has got $2 billion in global sales in 2008, but we've slipped from 3rd to 6th place in the global development rankings. And speaking on behalf of Alex Hope from Double Negative, the visual effects industry is booming, and yet the UK industry is turning away millions of business each year because they don't have the skilled workforce to work in the visual effects studios. So there's certainly a skills gap and shortages, and that's pretty bad considering the creative industry is supposed to be our most important sector at the moment, with manufacturing flat